Every single market is falling right now. I'm actually going to show it to you really quick before we even do the intro, because this is absolutely insane, right? Excuse me. I just inhaled some of my cigar on accident. Not supposed to do that. Look at silver. Okay, silver hit the top, $65, bang, right? Gold hit the top, $43.50 within $30 of the all-time high, bang. S&P hit the top, hit the 0.786 fib, bang, right? Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin was the laggard. It didn't even come close to anything cool. Bang, right? So everything is absolutely just getting, I mean, for lack of a better word, it's getting demolished right now. And you're probably here because you're like, dude, I don't know what to do right now. Well, luckily, I do know what to do. And I've actually been telling people exactly what to do for the past, 2 or 3 weeks in preparation for this inside of Nordic Alpha. But not even just that, right? Nordic Alpha is like, $29 a month to be in, and you get all of these trades. We've literally never had a down week. I have a 91% win rate in 2025 alone, and an overarching 88% win rate, which I can show you and document it and prove it, and it's all live tracked and all documented, unlike most people. But secondarily, I called the top on the S&P just now. I called the top on gold just now. I called the top on silver just now. I called Bitcoin crashing just now within the past couple of days, and I will actually gladly show you that as well. So just come right over here to my YouTube channel, man. I was trying to, I didn't just do it inside of Nordic Alpha to the paid members. I tried to put this out to everybody as much as I could. I posted 6 videos in the past 2 days telling people crypto crash, the top is in on the S&P, gold and silver crash imminent, silver new all-time high and gold pumping. Here is where they stop. Here is the bottom and top of where crypto and Bitcoin will go. The stock market could drop to $5,600. Dude, I went through and did all the analysis on these videos to prepare people and say hey, here's what's potentially going to happen and where we're going to probably potentially go. So in any case, at the very least, if you are not subscribed to this channel, please, for the love of all that is holy, subscribe to the channel. If you don't believe me, go watch my videos, man. If you don't believe me about my win rate, go to drewwolfer.com/win rate. Literally, I have it live tracked and documented. It's not BS, man. I'm dead serious right here. Just go to drewwolfer.com/win rate. Go check out my live track documented win rate where I have all of my trades tracked, and you have the links to when I called them out. You have my entries, my exits, the day that I went in, the day that I got out, my profit, my loss, everything, man, everything. Jeez, longs, shorts, everything. Just come up here. You can scroll over. You can see in 2025 alone, 91.67% win rate, 223% profit and loss, 96 trades, only 8 losses. Overall, everything since I've started tracking it, 123 trades, 308% profit since, when was it? November of last year, man. Do with that information whatever you want to do. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. All I'm saying is we told everybody this was going to happen, and if you want the full story behind it, I'll be more than happy to give it to you, because we do this every single day inside of Nordic Alpha. I promise you, I call these things out every single day. I give out the trades, and I'm going to show you the trades. I'm going to show you the levels. I'm going to show you where we are potentially going, as I normally do on YouTube, right? I'm going to show you all of these things here in just a second, but I have to tell you, if you want the guaranteed everyday live actionable insights and trades and signals and what I'm doing, get into Nordic Alpha. It is the least expensive it will ever be. It costs less than $1 a day to be in there. We have never had a down week. We have analysis every single day on Bitcoin, gold, silver, commodities, Forex, stock, S&P, right? You have my analysis. You also have swing trades, day trades, intraday trades, and scalp trades. Anything and everything, every market, every type of trader, investor to trader, investor to scalper, Forex to commodities, to the S&P, to crypto, to gold and silver, right? Everything you could want, I promise you, is inside of there. Plus, we have free education in there too. I have 27 trainings, bang, that you immediately get access to inside of there. JP Trades has 20 some trainings too. We're not going to go that much further in depth with it. I can assure you that if you want in on Nordic Alpha, and we have a 92% win rate this year, live tracked and documented, right? That will continue in 2026. But what will not continue is the pricing. It will not be $29 a month for very much longer. I can assure you of that. So if you want in, get in where you fit in. I'm just trying to let people know. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. You do whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you the facts, okay? Let's talk about what's going on inside of the markets, okay? Now, first and foremost, I called this out yesterday on silver. I said, look, we got a Wyckoff triple tap here. Wyckoff Model 1, very simple, very cut and dry. I also called this out inside of the Nordic Alpha private VIP trading room, right? Where I literally gave this exact trade out that I'm about to show you. I gave it out yesterday, and here's the trade. I'll show it to you. There's me calling out the triple tap right there. Bang, me calling out the triple tap, right? Now let me show you the trade. Here's the short. That's me setting it up inside of Nordic Alpha. So that was yesterday at, I don't know, 12:30 p.m. or something like that. It was around noon, right? So then what did we do? Well, the triple tap played out, and what did we do? Well, so before we even did that, actually, we hit this Big Daddy long. This is a 67R trade. I have to zoom so far in on this trade because the stop loss is so tight. This is where you entered, right? At the $6,060.12 range, right? This is how tight of a stop loss you were able to have on this because of the sniper entry that we gave out, right? Or at least I gave out, okay? Now, if we zoom out, I have to zoom in so that you can see the risk to reward on this. If you can see that risk to reward, that is a 104x risk to reward. That means for every dollar that you risked on this trade, you had $104 potential profit, okay? I gave this trade out again live. You just saw whenever I, posted it 2 days ago inside of Nordic Alpha, or it was yesterday. I think it was 3 days ago actually for this long. We took profits at the top. You had plenty of time, plenty of chances to get out. And when we took those profits, right? When we took those profits was right here, right? I gave out this trade right here in this video. Then we took the profits right there whenever I was starting to set up that short. And guess what we did? We flipped short, baby, and it hit right here. Boom, right? So what's the risk to reward on this trade? Well, not as awesome, right? 9.3x risk to reward. We didn't get as much of a sniper entry on that, I will admit, but we are already wildly profitable, right? So on this trade, we took 6.5% on the way up, and now we have flipped short on the way down, and it's already up 5%, and it has come within 50 cents of our take profit. It's already up ridiculously, right? So again, I called all of this out with this Wyckoff triple tap and the bearish divergence yesterday. And I actually called this out live on the stream right here, right? It was on this stream right here. I called it out live and said, hey, here's your Wyckoff triple tap. You got to pay attention for this because we could be rolling over. You had your bearish divergence there. Massive, massive bearish divergence. Boom, blasted down and absolutely crushed it on that silver trade. But again, you would not have had either of those two trades unless you were in the Nordic Alpha community. And if you took those trades in the Nordic Alpha community, dude, you paid for your subscription, man, like in one trade. And then you made a bunch of pizza money because it is Friday Pie Day, baby. Friday Pie Day. Happy Friday Pie Day to everybody. I didn't say that yet. But anyways, that's what essentially happened on silver. Now, same thing on gold, right? I gave out these two gold trades, right? Bang and bang, right? Actually, those were trades that were much earlier, right? So anyways, let's go through some of the trades that we gave out this past week, right? Bang and bang. Perfect entries, perfect exits on both of those long trades. Perfect entry on this short trade and perfect exit at the bottom end of the channel. Perfect entry right here. Perfect exit at the top end of the channel right there, right? Those are just 1, 2, 3, 4 trades that we gave out in the past, I don't know, week or something like that inside of Nordic Alpha. That's just on gold too, by the way. But these are the trades that I was talking about first, right? So this trade, we actually took full take profit up here because, I was telling everybody, look, you got to trail your stop loss. At the very least, you got to trail it under the VWAP, which was right here. And this was a 7x risk to reward trade. Look at this bad boy. 25x, no, my bad, 35x risk to reward trade on gold given out again live inside of the Nordic Alpha private VIP trading room. I gave this out on the 26th of November, dude. On the 26th of November, boom, it hit immediately. Never ever were you even in danger on this trade. You took it all the way up. You came within $30 of the all-time highs, and now it's rejecting and moving downwards, right? Now, did I tell people to flip short here? No, I did not, because I told people, look, we got to get up here to these all-time highs. This is where I would rather flip short. Even if we lose out on a short trade here, I'm perfectly fine with that. We just took a 35x risk to reward long. I am good on banking those profits and calling it a day, okay? And again, you know, I called out this top right here yesterday in this video right here. I showed you, hey, here's where the top could be on gold. I'm not saying we're going to flip around immediately, right? But I showed you, you know, all these different places that you could see, you know, it's very simple to see. So in any case, we were giving these trades out inside of the Nordic Alpha private VIP. But maybe you don't trade gold and silver. Maybe you trade Bitcoin, right? Maybe you trade Bitcoin. Totally. I totally get it, right? So let's go over some of the trades that we've given out just in the past week or so inside of Nordic Alpha. So let's look at this one. Bang. Look at that, dude. 36x risk to reward trade. Bang. Absolutely killed that one. What about this one? Oh, I mean, this one was only a 3.5x risk to reward. No big deal. Still killed it on that one. Obviously, we gave out this short at the top. We took profits right here. I think this was only a 2x risk to reward. That was just a really quick trade. We gave this one out, naked point of control rejection, and bang, took it all the way down. If most people probably took it all the way down to the bottom end of the parallels deviation zone down here, and were wildly profitable, but I took profits here at a 2.5x risk to reward. Perfectly fine with it. And then guess what we did? We flipped long, baby. 5.5x risk to reward. I'm literally walking you through what we've done over the past couple of weeks, and you can just see that we just trade everything, man. We shorted at the top. We shorted it all the way down here. Bang for a, I don't know, 4x risk to reward, right? Then we did not long here. I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, I do not want a long here, not up against this resistance, not up against this resistance. I want to see if we get up here, if we SFP these highs. We're shorting yet again, 14x risk to reward trade on that short, bang, bang, boom. And then guess what happened? Again, we hit the long right here and said, boom. All right, took that. I think this was only like a 3.5x. Yeah, 3.3x risk to reward trade. No big deal. And guess what's happening? You're getting that trade all over again, and you could see it rip back up here to the top. But maybe you don't trade Bitcoin, right? Maybe you don't trade crypto. What about the S&P? Does anybody trade the S&P? I think we're going to hit all markets here, right? Would you have liked to take this long right here for a 12.5x risk to reward? Well, we gave that out again in the private VIP trading room, right? Let's see this one. This one was nuts, man. This was a 9x risk to reward. We almost sold the top. Very close, but we didn't, right? But I don't care. I'll leave money on the table. I have no problem with that. Then we shorted this all the way down to right about here, okay? So right about there, we were only in this trade for, I don't know, about a day. Just a 4x risk to reward, no big deal. And then guess what happened? We got the same trade all over again. We SFP'd this high, came back up, shorted it again for another 5.6x risk to reward. And then guess what we did? We came up to the 0.786. We got this trade, and it doesn't matter what trade you got in on because there was 2 chances to get in on this one, and you would have had an almost full take profit on both of these, right? So the take profit was really here, but now, you know, I'm saying, hey, we need to see what happens here, what happens here, and what happens here. This is our ultimate target. So people are taking profits here. Have they closed out the entire position yet? Maybe, maybe not. This one is an absolute gangster. This one is a nuts trade. Look at the risk to reward on this bad boy. The risk to reward on this one is a 24x. We gave this trade out yesterday. The 0.786 fib, again, inside of the Nordic Alpha private VIP trading room. And literally today I said, look, S&P shorts absolutely killed it for us this week. We hit the 0.786 that we were talking about. Perfect entry for the short. And we are wildly profitable at this time. Here's the levels. Here's where it could be going. We will see where it goes. 24x risk to reward. If you took that trade, you're an absolute animal. So in any case, it does not matter what market you trade, right? Whether you trade Forex, whether you trade equities, whether you trade crypto, whether you trade commodities, whether you trade metals, whatever, we've got it for you, whether you're scalping, day trading, swing trading, investing, whatever it is. we post analysis on it, man. So let's talk about where Bitcoin could be going first. Then we will get into gold and silver. Then we will do the S&P, and I'll probably do the S&P before gold and silver, just because I think that, in my opinion, okay, this is just my opinion. In my opinion, gold and silver kind of like run the markets, but the S&P is going to govern what happens with Bitcoin. Okay, so we'll talk about Bitcoin first, and then we'll kind of show you what the S&P, weights on that, right? Like the type of weight that the S&P has on this. Okay, so let's zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out, right? Let me light my cigar, if you will afford me just a second of your time to light my cigar, because we did take a lot of gains this week. We had an incredible week inside of NORDIC Alpha, and hopefully you get in there as well. It's the first link in the description. And you take some gains with us next week, right? And then every week from there on out. So here's Bitcoin. Here's the Bitcoin chart. As we're seeing right now, we are in this massive upward sloping parallel, right? And I got into some really big trouble yesterday, okay? With all the people in the comments section freaking out, and the day before that, and are all freaking out, right? And they're like, oh, dude, Bitcoin's not going to 74K, dude. It's not going, man. And then they're like, oh, this isn't the top of Bitcoin. It's not going back down, bro. It's not going back down, bro. And same thing with actually gold and silver. A lot of people were yelling at me and getting mad, saying that this was all clickbait titles. And I'm like, dude, like not for nothing. I'm not trying to be facetious about it by any means, but like, are you a 91% win rate verified pro trader? Okay, then shut up, because I know what I'm talking about, and I have the documented win rate to prove it. Now, you can either listen or not, right? I don't care about emotions. I don't care like what your feelings are about it. I care about the friggin' charts. And here's the thing. I did get into some trouble yesterday. I did get into some trouble yesterday in the comments section and the day before that, because I was saying Bitcoin could be going down back into this zone right here, right? And let's be real, it can. This is the prior range, dude. Like, this is where the top came in, and then we ranged for, I mean, look how long we ranged for here, right? I'm going to show you. You don't even have to look. $260 days, man. Do you realize how many months that is? That's almost 9 full months. That is a very significant range. And there's going to be a very significant amount, okay, of, guess what? Confluence and support down here, boy. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying like it's guaranteed going to come down here to $52,000. Just saying it could. And if we're going to go into a bear market, this is likely the range that we would probably get accepted back into, right? And here's the facts, okay? Bitcoin has bounced off of this parallel channel multiple times, the bottom, right? And it's never cracked it for real. Like, it's wicked below it, but it has never confirmed below it. Like here, we had one candle close below it, and then it just ripped right back into it, right? Now, what makes this different? It has absolutely confirmed below it, back tested it multiple times, and now it is under it, okay? Now, you're probably wondering, what are these little itty bitty blue lines right here, right? Well, these are my proprietary deviation zones that I will not tell you what they are, because no one is going to give you. And that's that. There's only 2 people in the world, and I'm not going to make you one of them until it makes sense for us to do that, right? So in any case, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you an even better proprietary zone. Right here, okay? And we're going to drag this down to the parallels, and we're going to delete this one, okay? So here's your first zone, okay? As you can see, we bounced from this zone. We're rejecting the parallel. We have gotten accepted outside of that parallel now, right? So this is a problem, Because when you get accepted outside of this parallel, the first thing you're going to do is come to this first deviation zone, right? And understanding that the S&P is a ticking time bomb, that NVIDIA can't hold it up forever, and that the market dynamics are pointing towards a massive crash inside of the S&P because we had a huge run up. And in 2026, it's more likely that we crash than we keep going up in the S&P. And what does that mean? What does that matter? Because the S&P has the ability to drag Bitcoin down with it. Excuse me. So this is our first zone. We obviously bounced from that, but if we reject here and we get through this zone, guess what we're going to do? Reject from it and start coming down, okay? Now, if we do that, where does our second deviation zone start? Well, at the $74,000 range, okay? That's just what it is, okay? Now, you get lost outside of that deviation zone and you get accepted back into this range. What is more than likely to happen is you're going to start doing ranging yet again until you can finally get back above it like it did here. Massive pull up, breakout, break and retest that zone, and then new all-time highs, right? So that's what we're looking for. And if you want to know where those new all-time highs could be, it is $135,000, okay? Why is it $135,000, Drew? Well, if we come down here, we find support somewhere, somehow we get back outside of it and we bounce, we're looking somewhere in this range, 140 to 135 to get back up here. That's going to be your kind of like top level resistance. That is where Bitcoin could be going. Now, there's another thing that we can show you. And it is called a trend-based Fibonacci, okay? And if I pull up my trend-based fib, it'll give you a pretty good indication of where Bitcoin could be going here soon, right? So again, what does that trend-based Fibonacci line up with, right? From the lows of after this all-time high back in 74,000 to the new highs and then to the ultimate subsequent lows when we used the last all-time highs as support. What it's giving you is a triple rejection, triple top at the 0.786 fib at 122. And then it's giving you almost a full retracement and then a hopeful and eventual pump up to the 1.0 level at $135,000. Now, past that, where could we be going? Well, the 1.618 is up here at $171,000. But let's look at another trend-based fib, and I'll show you where we could be potentially going as well, right? So if you zoom out, you can see that we rejected from the 1.618 fib from the 2017 low to the 2022 high to the new low that came in 2022 or 2020, almost 2023. We rejected triple tap rejection from the 1.618, right? If we can somehow, and then we bounced from the 1.0 just now, right? So if we can continue to move upwards and we crack this 1.618, where could we be coming? Right here to about $188,000. Now there's two scenarios where that happens. One, we just bounce from here, or two, we come back down here to that range and we hit somewhere in the 0.786 fib, which is at about $67,000, or the 0.618 fib, which is at about $56,000. So are we ever going to go back below $56,000 on Bitcoin? Probably not. That's probably where we will find our most high level of support and start bouncing to start creating new all-time highs. Now, one of the things that will absolutely govern that is the S&P, okay? And I want to zoom out on the daily chart on the S&P and show you another thing that is, let's call it what it is. It's pretty troubling. You know, I'll just call it what it is. So I'm going to show you the parallel and then we'll do the rest of the stuff. And I'm actually going to replace my parallel with my fib channel. Boom. Okay. Let's get that out of there. 2016 parallel, don't care, peace. And I'll fix that later, right? We'll fix that later. So this is called the 2016 parallel. This is a parallel that we have been in since 2016, okay? And we've just upward sloping, just been killing it, right? We come down here, we bounce, we hit the top. We come down here, we bounce, we hit the top. We come down here, we bounce, we hit the top. But here's the difference. This time we actually got outside of it, back tested it bullishly twice, pumped up to the first deviation zone, rejected, right? And we can get all this stuff off of here. Pumped up to that first deviation zone, rejected, and as you can see, came right back down, got accepted back into the parallel for just one day, got ripped back up to it, and now we are seeing that we don't have the juice and the momentum to get back up to the deviation zone, okay? So what's likely to happen is, you know, what we've set up with this short right here, right? Probably coming all the way down to here, to about 66.50. But once you get accepted back in from a, you know, like on a daily closing basis, back into this large parallel, okay, and we'll zoom out and I'll show you exactly what I mean. We have a very precipitous fall that could ensue after that, and I'm going to show you where that could be, you know, landing us, right? So if you look at the fib from the low to the high of this bull run, right? So definitely a bull run, right? You're looking at about $5,642 where the 0.618 is, and the equilibrium price right here, which is the 0.5 fib, is at 5,900. So my guess is we're probably going to fade to about $5,650 to $5,900 in 2026 if we get accepted back into this parallel. We'll start legging our way down to here, and this is probably where we will find somewhere in this range right here our ultimate support. Now there's a caveat to that. That is if we get accepted into here and then we fall past the previous all-time high, right? Because you could just see support right here at 61.50. So you got to watch 61.50. But if you lose that, you're probably coming into this range right here, okay? And then you'll probably catch a bounce, and then you'll probably see the S&P going up to about $7,500 before it gets another subsequent rejection. And if we look at the trend-based fib, boom, you can see that $7,500 is the 1.0, and it is calling for us to be there by essentially the end of the year next year, okay? So again, if we get accepted back into this, dude, Bitcoin is going to go down. It is going to go down with the S&P. Bitcoin is a speculative asset. It is something that is like, it's risk on, okay? So that people are only buying Bitcoin, they're only buying stocks whenever the risk on appetite is there, okay? Otherwise, they buy gold and silver and they come over into Nordic Alpha and get Drew Wolfer's calls on gold and silver with a 91.5% win rate, and they absolutely murder the game. And they make 200 and some percent in less than a year. So you're probably wondering, like, I've laid out the bearish case scenario for the S&P. What's the bullish case? Well, if we come down here and we just bounce from the top into this parallel for a third retest here, once we break this all-time high and then we back test the 0.786, that's where I would start to be thinking about longs, right? I need to see us crack this all-time high and then use the 786 as support instead of resistance. Because as you can see right here, right, if we just zoom in and I take my parallel off, I can take the parallel off to make it look a little bit cleaner. You use the 786 as resistance here, and now you're using it as resistance again. Now, could there be an inverted head and shoulders or a Wyckoff Model 2 here? Maybe, but I highly doubt it. Not with the macroeconomic conditions that we have right now. My guess is we're probably going to come down, invalidate that head and shoulders, and continue downwards, right? So in any case, if you were inside of Nordic Alpha, dude, I mean, you have absolutely just murdered it over the past couple of weeks, not only shorting the S&P, right? We're not just shorting the S&P. We did hit 4 nice shorts on the S&P, right? But we also hit a couple of really, really sick longs, like this one right here, right? And then even more longs back here and shorts back here, because I gave out this short, I gave out this short, and I gave out this short been absolutely killing it on the S&P. Let's talk about gold and silver. I know Naomi showed up so that she could see gold and silver. It is on an absolute roller coaster right now. But from a fundamental perspective, we do have a Wyckoff triple tap model on not only silver, which is favoring a pullback to at least here, which we've already almost hit that, right? But it could be favoring a pullback to around here, this zone down here, this nice little range. Now, the one thing I do want people to understand is that in order to have this Wyckoff, you have to have the triple tap model, but you also have to have a bearish divergence. Otherwise, it's not a true Wyckoff model 1, right? But this is a Wyckoff model 1. And if we go to the gold chart, you can see that we also have the Wyckoff model 1. I believe it's on the 4-hour chart. Maybe it's, yeah, Wyckoff model 1 on the 4-hour chart. As you can see, here's your triple tap, right? And bang, this is your second high, first high, second high, third high, right? And your massive bearish divergence, boom. It's really not as much a bearish divergence now as it was before, because now we have this being a little bit more like slanted upwards, unfortunately, right? So what you need to do is you got to go to different charts, see if it's happening on the 12-hour, on the daily, on the 1-hour, things of that sort, right? And unfortunately, we're not seeing as good of a Wyckoff on gold as it was yesterday, right? We did have a nice triple tap on it yesterday when this was the high. But now that we've pushed up towards the all-time highs, obviously we got a nice subsequent rejection from that. As you can see, we came down. We tried to get our 1-hour market structure shift to the downside. And forgive this. This is a trade that we had up. Now we need to close a candle below $4,285 to see a market structure shift on the 1-hour chart to the downside on gold. Okay. Now, if gold does fall, this is likely where it's going to be coming. About $4,200. You fall from there, what's more than likely to happen is you're going to come down somewhere in this range, and most likely you're going to catch support at about $4,100, and your ultimate support is going to be right here at $4,000, right? Why? Well, because these were the range highs here. Then they flipped to the range lows, and then these became the range highs. Then these flipped to the range lows, and now these became the range highs. And as you can see, we bounced off of it. So if we lose these range highs, we're coming to the range lows. You lose those range lows, you're coming to the previous range highs, right? $4,100. Very simple market structure, right? This is a very simple market structure. This is what we teach inside of Nordic Alpha. This is what I teach inside of my trainings that are like pennies on the dollar. If you want to get my trainings, feel free to go ahead. They're on the drewwolfer.com website, and they are not going to be expensive. Buy them for somebody that you love, right? Give it to somebody, gift it to somebody for Christmas, somebody that you want to have financial freedom. We'll teach them how to do it. It's very easy. It's very simple. My lighter is out of fluid. But that's all right, because we always have the backup ST DuPont on deck, baby. So we could still see us come up here, right? Invariably, right? We could see us come up here, SFP those highs, and then get a massive, massive push down. Here's the thing I want people to realize, though, right? And I kind of went over this yesterday, and, people were mad about it or whatever on this video where I was like, hey, this could be the top on gold and silver. And I wasn't saying like, where we were at is the top. Like, people look at YouTube titles and thumbnails, and they're like, they take them as gospel. And it's like, bro, watch the friggin' video, man. Like, I'm telling you, here is the top on gold and silver. I'm not telling you this is the top on gold and silver. I'm saying here is where they could stop, right? Here's where they could be topping out. And for us, right, if we go to the daily chart, I'll show you. It's a little bit easier to see on the daily chart. We do have an uptrend on the monthly all the way down to the 1-hour chart. So it is upward sloping, right? Everything is upward sloping. We have a nice topping tail candle coming in here near the highs. We almost hit the all-time highs. I mean, we came within, what's the high on this candle? 43.87, and the all-time high was 43.98. We came within $2, $12 of the all-time high. I'd say that's close enough, my friends. I would say that is definitely close enough. And yeah, That's crazy. That's wildly close. Okay. So in any case, what we did have was a nice cup and handle on the 1-day chart, right? So let me zoom in just a little bit, kind of see it. We can drag it over here. But in any case, you can see the cup and handle, right? Well, what is the target on that, right? It's $4,500 for about 75 to 80% of the measured move, okay? Now, the other thing that I want people to realize is that we also have, if you go here and look, we have our parallel that's also giving $4,500 vibes for the top, right? That's our second deviation zone. And as you can see, we rejected from that second deviation zone previously. We came back down. We rejected 3 times now from the first deviation zone. And each time we've done that, we've gotten a fade. Now, if we get a fade and we get accepted back into here and we actually confirm it, dude, I mean, you're probably coming down to about $4,000. Maybe you catch a little bit of support at $4,100. What is this parallel from? I mean, a very, very long time. A very, very long time. Top, got outside of it. Bottom, got outside of it. Bottom. It's a very good parallel, is my point, right? Then if you look at the December 2024 parallel, right? Bottom, got outside of it, bounced from top end of the first deviation zone and then the bottom end of the first deviation zone, came all the way back up, rejected from the first deviation zone above and outside of the parallel, then got sucked back into the parallel, having a really hard time getting back up here. It's struggling, right? Momentum is definitely not playing a central role in this move up, right? It seems to be that the momentum is not actually in our favor, right? And you also have a small, well, let's call it what it is, just a small parallel right here, right? How do I get this on here? Yeah, there we go. Again, rejecting, man. So, I mean, you lose this smaller term parallel, like you're going to see some wild moves, okay? And you're probably going to be coming down to about $4,000, right? So this is the micro parallel. And we can get this off of our chart, okay? Now, so you can kind of see where $4,500 is coming into play. Now, what's another reason why I think $4,500 could be potentially coming into play? Right, huh? Right, huh? We got to zoom out just a little bit. Our first deviation zone on our, whatever it's called, where's it at? On the local range, okay? From the top to the bottom, okay? The all-time high to the subsequent low that came after that. As you can see, we're rejecting from the 1.0 right there, right? Our first deviation zone is at $4,500, okay? That's lining up not only with that is not only lining up right there, but it is also lining up, dang it, with our parallels top end deviation zone, right? So as you can see, these blue lines are intersecting the purple lines, right? Pretty crazy, okay? And as you can see, boom, $4,500, right? So that's why I'm saying $4,500 could be the top. I'm not saying it's like the top forever. I'm saying it could just be a short-term top, get a pullback, come down here to $4,000, bang, bang, boom, start pumping up again, baby. That's what we want to see. Now, there's a couple other reasons why I think that could be possible, but we won't spend time on it. I think I've made the case pretty abundantly clear, right? Now, let's get down to silver really quick, and I'll show you kind of like the same things on silver, okay? So silver has precipitously fell. And again, we called this out yesterday, the day before. We called this out weeks and weeks and weeks in advance inside of NORDIC Alpha. So, I mean, you can subscribe to the channel and wait for the calls. But the best way to, get into these positions ahead of time is going to be being inside of NORDIC Alpha, inside of the private VIP trading room, where you're going to get these, levels and you're going to get these trades every single day. I mean, like literally, you would have been profitable on this trade already And you could have just taken profit here. I mean, still, you could take profit here. You still have a 6x risk to reward. You could literally, right, anytime. We literally called the top on it, right? And then obviously we're waiting for a long down here, and we're waiting for a secondary potential long right here. Now, again, this was a 104x risk to reward trade that we gave out on silver like 3 days ago. If you would have been in the community then, I think that you would probably just buy a year's membership because you would be so profitable. Like, even if you risked $3 on that trade, you would literally have enough money to pay for a year's membership and still be in the money by a lot. Because I am not an unfair individual. I also offer discounts for people that want to like purchase 3 months at a time, 6 months at a time, 9 months at a time, 12 months at a time. You can get discounts for that up to like 20%, I think, something like that, off of the membership, which the membership's already like so inexpensive anyways. Yeah, you might want to hedge your long. I'm going to be honest with you. Are you inside of Nordic Alpha, bro? Because like I would have told you. I told you this morning if you're inside of Nordic Alpha. I know Naomi is. I remember you. I see you in there. If you're in Nordic Alpha, man, just, you know, come in there and pay attention, man. I got you. We got your back, man. Me and John, JP Trades. So in any case, here we are. We've got a textbook Wyckoff model 1 that's played out, right? It has absolutely played out. The only way it could have played out better is if it came all the way down here to $60.73. That would have actually given us immediate and full take profit on this right now, right? So we're getting a little pump up, whatever, though. Here's the problem with silver that is a little bit and inherently different from gold, okay? Silver has actually broken market structure to the downside, and now this is your new low, right? Whoops. What is going on? There we go. So if we crack this low at $61 and like basically 2 cents, you are continuing market structure to the downside. If you close a 4-hour candle under $60.55, you are breaking market structure to the downside on the 4-hour chart, which is obviously not awesome, right? As it sits right now, the trends are, you're in an uptrend from the monthly all the way down to the 4-hour, and the 1-hour has now shifted to a downtrend because of this Wyckoff model 1. Right? But what always happens before the market absolutely plummets and tanks? The 1-hour has to shift before the 4-hour can shift. The 15-minute has to shift before the 30-minute, and before, you know, is this your old or new channel? I don't see any of the vid you talked about from the last couple of days. Oh yeah, you might be watching on my other channel, bro. So I've got 2 channels. One is Drew Wolfer, and then the other one is called Drew Wolfer Official, I believe. So yeah, you might just be on the other channel, right? If the video title says all markets crash, you're on my new channel, and I stream on both, right? And if you're on one that says gold, silver, crypto, S&P all crash, you are on my channel that is like has all of those videos on it. Just type in @DrewWolfer on YouTube and you'll see it, right? In any case, let's talk about it. This is what's happening with silver right now. We do have a potential AMD model, right? Accumulation, right? Let's call it what it is. Accumulation. Potentially manipulating a move outside of that accumulation, right? This range, okay? And then if we come down, we could be potentially redistributing all of this move back down to $57, right? Now, the one thing that you will have to take into account is this. There could be a potential REM-C model here, right? And I'm actually going to put this up and I'm going to copy this. You could see a potential REM-C model here, okay? So just be cognizant of that, because there is no guarantee that this is an AMD that's going to play out exactly as I was talking about, right? You could see the REM-C come in, which is range, initiation outside of the range, mitigation of that entire move down to about $58.50, something like that, and then a continuation of the trend upwards to about $67.55. Now, again, you're probably wondering, hey, why? Why $67.50? Why would that be our continuation range before we get another pullback, right? If we bounced from here, because I truly do think that we have downside to about $54.50, right? If we lose this level right here, $57, we are coming to 54 to 54.50, right? There's nothing to hold us up in between there. There's like one naked VWAP right here, okay? That's not going to be enough to hold us up, okay? So in any case, my point is that if we were to hit a RIMC here, range initiation mitigation, or mitigation of that initiation move, and then a continuation, why could we see it go all the way up here? Well, I'll show you. That is the top end of the second deviation zone on my parallel, okay? And this is a very well-known and very well-respected parallel. From these bottoms, bottom, 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 it's bounced from here 5 times, right? And it has rejected here once, twice, 3 times, and now we got up above it, rejected again, right? We got up above it, rejected from the first deviation zone, used it as support, blasted up, rejected from the bottom end of the second deviation zone, and now we've come back down to the bottom end of the first deviation zone. Now, if we lose that, my guess is we're coming down here to about $60. And then if we lose that, we're probably coming down to about 57, okay? And that's where you could see a potential bounce, right? You could see a bounce here at about 58.32, and worst case scenario, $57 to 57.20. But if you lose 57, I assure you, we are coming to about $54 to $54, $54 to 54 cent. Oh my gosh, $54 to $54.50. Okay, so in any case, if you want to know why the markets are tanking, and you want to know where they could be stopping or where we could be going down and then where we could be continuing upwards, you kind of understand the lay of the land now. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If you are here, I appreciate you. Seriously, I appreciate you very much. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, whatever channel you're watching on. I have 2 channels, right? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Boom, baby. Bang on that notification bell. Comment anything that you want in the relevant sections below. I appreciate it. Make sure, seriously, this is a public service announcement. So I'm going to come on screen. If you are not inside of Nordic Alpha right now, and I did not do a good enough base case of laying out why you should be in there, tell me why. Seriously, tell me why. What is the issue, right? I want to know people's objections. Is it the win rate? Are you mad that I don't have a 100% win rate? Because no one has that. I have a 91.5% win rate in 2025. I can't imagine that it's that, right? Is it the markets that we're trading? I can't imagine it's that because we trade every single market. Crypto, equities, S&P, Forex, metals, commodities, whatever. Is it the type of trader that you are, right? Well, I can't imagine that it's that because we give out day trades, intraday trades. John gives out scalps all day. We give out swing trades, right? Can't imagine it's that. Is it the pricing? It's less than $1 a day. It won't stay $1 a day forever. I can assure you, with the more demand that we have, I will raise the price of it. So get in where you fit in. And I might do away with the discounts as well. So you can get 5, 10, 15, 20% discounts right now. Take advantage of them. Take advantage of them. So what is your reasoning for not joining Nordic Alpha, right? I showed you how many profitable trades we took on the S&P this week, right? I showed you how many profitable trades we took on Bitcoin this week. I showed you how many profitable trades we took inside of the commodities, Forex markets, metals markets, gold and silver, right? I'm looking for some transparency, guys. What are the objections? There's 94 people on this call. Why isn't every single of those 94 people getting inside of Nordic Alpha? Because all of you stayed on this call the entire time. So you want the analysis, you want the, you know, insights on the trades. I can't imagine that you want to just do it whenever I just randomly come on YouTube and it's not actionable. You want the actionable trades, get inside of Nordic Alpha. So again, I say all of that to say, if you have any type of objection or there's a reason why you don't want to get in Nordic Alpha and it's something that I can help with, tell me. Tell me what the objection would be as to why you don't want to be in there, because we've never had a single down week ever. Ask anybody that's in there. Ask them all. I appreciate you. I hope to see you all in Nordic Alpha soon. I will gladly continue giving out trades to everybody. Much love to you all. Everybody have a good hashtag Friday Pie Day with your beautiful families. You know where Bitcoin could be going. You know where the S&P could be going. You know where gold could be going, and you know where silver could be going. And those are the markets that matter right now. So hopefully everybody had a good day. Has a good day and had a good time on this stream. If it's something that actually interests you and something that you appreciate, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. Boom, baby. Bang on the notification bell. Comment whatever you want in the relevant sections. Anybody that's on Twitter, make sure you scroll up, hit the follow button. Get inside of Nordic Alpha. It is either the first link in the description on YouTube or it is the first link on my Twitter profile up top. Everybody have a wonderful day. Peace.